So moving on, we are discussing the resistance to innovation. So these are the sources of resistance. Why the resistance come in the first place? So it is a possible insecurity, social cause. There could be economic losses that I visualize myself, the inconvenience that I might have to face, resentment of control. I feel I may lose a control, unanticipated repercussions. I am not sure what will happen, threats to influence, and what kind of influence will it lead to. So here the action is given. In this, if you see, the action is given by the marketeer. So the sources of resistance, barriers, product strategy, communication, pricing, market, and copying strategy. So how do you go about? So functional barriers and the psychological barriers. And functional barriers I have divided into usage barrier, value barrier, risk barrier. Psychological is divided into tradition barriers and image barriers. And then under each you see that there is a solutions given. So let's take the usage barrier, for example. So what could be the product strategy? If you find that usage itself is restricted, so develop a system perspective, for example, packaging, or integrate innovation with preceding activity, say packaging. So what is needed is make the usage viable, make the usage easy, increase triability. One more, this thing is market development, mandate the usage, you facilitate the usage. Okay, you allow people to provide demonstration, allow them to use and return if they are not happy about. So this is how, say, value barrier. Improve product performance. So you improve the product performance and improve product positioning. So if there is a value barrier, create a value. That is what, as they say, reduce price by lowering the cost. Okay, reduce price by lowering the cost. That's another this thing under pricing strategy. So for every such barrier, you can see that there are some solutions that is marketeer will have to provide. Image barrier. So borrow a good image, and if there is an image issue under the product category strategy, you have to create an image about the product or objective, so to say, object, attitude, object, as you say. Make fun of negative image, create a unique image. So you either discard the negative image by probably making fun of it, or there is no place for that to hold, or you create a unique image for yourself. So that could be the communication strategy that one can do. So for every known barriers, functional, psychological, and every known sub barriers, marketeers will have to put in the strategy in place, which essentially covers product, communication, pricing, market, and copying strategy. Okay, so this is what is the solution that one offers under the diffusion. You cannot have the resistance accepted and remain quiet. You will have to overcome the resistance. So channel of communication. So very important aspect is the next aspect, which is the channel of communication. The success of diffusion, that is taking the innovation to the target customer. It depends on ability to spread the news throughout the market. Now for spreading the news throughout the market, communication is a critical criteria. Communication must take place, and communication among, especially in the digital era, is a challenging task. So you have to decide medium, the vehicle, etc., which will take the innovation to the people. So there are therefore teaser advertisements, or there are pre-publicity or pre-press releases, etc., that will create a inducement, excitement about what is coming new. So that's how people play with the various promotional tool or promotion mix also. So communication plays a critical role. Communication sources are categorized as impersonal and interpersonal sources. Impersonals are advertisements, publicity, etc., which is not, it is a mass this thing, while interpersonal sources are very personal sources, and they are personal selling, using innovation, opinion leaders, etc. Opinion leaders are the one people depend upon, and they talk about your product and what is good about your product. It will impact the influence, people who are getting influenced by these opinion leaders. Signs of early adopters. So there are, have more change agent, that is, you have to tap more change agent in the society. It could start with your salespeople. He should first accept that this product is of a world class this thing, and therefore he goes to the market to create that impression forward. However, one need to understand this have a greater exposure to mass media. So mass media generally brings reach. So reach is essential during the diffusion initial phase. First, most people should know, then the right people should know more. So most people should know will come to you from the reach. Right people should know more will come to you from the frequency or the media that you use. Then you should be more present on blogs, you should be more present on social media, you should do more viral, etc., as they say. So seek information about innovations more frequently. There are people who seek innovations, more news about innovations. So be present there, have greater knowledge of innovations, have a high degree of opinion leadership. So your product should have a high opinion leaders following it. So everybody is, for that matter, ready to write about Apple if he's been offered a proposition that you introduce this new product. So you will be very keen, which may not be the case with the, say, other Taiwanese or other Chinese company. I'm just giving an example. Market must create more early adopters. So role of a communication while you use as a channel, it is aimed at influencing the early adopters. We will understand what this is, but it is like a tapping through a communication. You reach out to the one who are innovative hungry, innovation hungry. They seek always the information, they always refer to the opinion makers, etc., and then they decide their decision even before the product comes in. So that's how they go about. So they are known as early adopters. Time, the social system will leave impacts our behavior. Time is another constant, this thing one need to really understand. So time is a foundation of a diffusion process. Now diffusion process, when you kickstart, it's not that you can reach out to everyone. You are supposed to also reach out to everyone and influence everyone. You have to stagger this, because there are types of people in terms of their ability to accept new products. So there are types of people. We will come to that. But what needs to be understood is purchase time. That is the time that you take to purchase, identification of the adopter categories, and the rate of adoption. So purchase time, just to understand, it's an amount of time that elapses between the consumer's initial awareness about the new product or innovation vis-a-vis he or she actually accepts or rejects it. So that's a purchase time. If he buys it, fine. If it concludes, no, I'm not buying, that's also fine. But that's a time lapse that one need to be aware about while doing a diffusion process. Adopter categories, there are classifications. People, as I told you, new innovations are not easily adopted by everyone. You are also not supposed to influence everyone. So there are essentially this classification that has been done. The names are self-explanatory. Innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. Probably I think the subsequent slide it is there. Innovators are, they are the ones who take on the risk. Whenever there is a new product coming, they are the first one to adopt. They may know little, however, they are taking a risk. They want to be looked upon as a distinct profile. It's a distinct trait in their profile. Everything new, they are the first one to own it. They will go miles to grab that new product. Early adopters, they adopt new ideas but do a post careful consideration. So they may adopt fast, slower than the innovators, but better than the others. However, there is a careful consideration. People respect their views also, and people follow them also. So they are those early adopters are considered as a sound people. They have evaluated and then they have decided. So they have many followers who follow them. Thus, they also are the change agent. So early adopters also are the change agent. Their opinions will matter. Okay, so thus this category have the most opinion leaders. So early adopters are the category from which majority of the opinion leaders or the influencers will come. Okay, but they have a systematic understanding and analysis done before they accept your product. Early majority, it's not a group that takes unwarranted risk. This is a group of people who doesn't take unwarranted risk. They are definitely curious. They definitely want to adopt to new things. However, they want to have the assurance that their decision is not unwise. So they adopt this product much before the other mass do, only after careful consideration of various pros and cons, reading opinions of the opinion leader, getting an experience of the innovator, etc. Then they move into acquiring these goods. Late majority, they adopt a new product out of necessity. Whenever they have a need, then only they will adopt. क्योंकि अभी market में क्या नया है? They will not otherwise. I have my say iPhone running well. Then even if iPhone new editions are coming, I am not moved by it. This thing is working. Why should I? So only when my phone is in trouble or I feel that life is utilized, then I at that time ask what is new. Or that time somebody says कि 3 महीने पहले 6 महीने पहले ये आया था. Why don't you take that? So then I am that late majority. Okay. And laggards, they are the last in the lot. They are the last team of remaining population who's balanced for adopting the new product. They believe to be always careful. They are extra careful and do not risk their investment at all in trying new product. Help marketers to use their marketing mix appropriately. These are the people probably you can capture while you are tapering your growth and entering the maturity stage, etc. Then these are the people who will give you that incremental volume. You cannot create a strategy only out of them, okay, because they are the one who may not even accept. They know that it's a good product, but they may not accept also. Allows marketers to understand media habits and use same appropriately. So you should know how to influence the laggards. You may do things to bring laggards early in your lap. That can be done, but they will remain. After all careful consideration, when product this thing is established in the market, it's a no problem product, etc. Thoda bhi ek negative hint mil gaya, so they will not the one who will go ahead. And also there's a large group of people, even if they do not adopt largely, your project or your product is not supposed to go fail. If you have tapped the other 4 category earlier, better. So that's what is a categorization one need to understand. And then comes the rate of adoption. This refers to how quickly one adopts to the new product. So what is the rate? In every group that we have earlier studied, what number of people will get that? So in early majority, even the people taking it will be accordingly more, but not into say laggard. So to say, there may be very small percentage of people, if at all, change will accept that. So that's the rate of adoption. That is the number of people in that group likely to take your product. That's very important. So now to see this based on the time and the extent of adoption, different categories of adoptions are identified. So now we enter into diffusion. We have understood. Now from the diffusion, we enter into understanding adoption. So extent of adoption, time of adoption. Okay. So this is what emerges as a table. Early adopter, time of adoption is early and extent of adoption high. So innovative users. Okay. Early adoption, but acceptance, early adoption is low. So it's a slow adopters. Late adoption, time, and high extent of adoption, they are rapid adopters. And last is a laggard. So this is a classification based on adoption versus the time it takes. So you will say that what did we study early? This categorization. So this is the categorization of diffusion. While you have to plan your diffusion, you look at this way. But when you are understanding adopters, when you are in the process of deciding your adopters or reaching out to them, etc., then these are the 4 classifications. It is coming on the extent of adoption and time of adoption. So you have innovative users, you have slow users, rapid adopters, and laggards.